Okay, so this is the final project for sports reporting. Daryl Blair's class. Great class. Let's just start off with that. 10 out of 10 class. Um, so let's talk about me and my aspirations. um, so originally I wanted to be an anesthesiologist. This was in middle school. And then after freshman year, we did a little project of like a timeline of what we would need to do in school for like what we wanted to do. And I realized I did not want to be in school for that long. So I was like, cool, I have no idea what I want to do with my life. You know, the typical high school stuff. Um, but after, I think I was a sophomore. Yeah. And my friend, I played soccer with her. She was a senior. She was ready to go to West Virginia University and she was majoring in journalism. And I was like, oh, like, what do you want to do with that? And she was like, I want to be a sports reporter for, I think she wanted to do football or any Philly sport for that matter. And if you knew her, you'd be like, yep, that suits you. Like, this is the perfect job for you. You know your stuff. Like, you love to talk. Your public speaking skills are great. And then I kind of was thinking about it and I was like, I'm going to piggyback off of that because I was thinking about it and I was talking about it with my parents actually. And I literally was surrounded by sports literally since kindergarten. Um, I thought I was going to a cheerleading tryout and I ended up on a soccer field playing IM soccer with literally an all boys team and just me. So that sparked my love for sports, and then I started playing basketball, and then I started swimming, and then I started playing softball, and then I tried lacrosse, and I tried field hockey. It was just like a cycle of sports, just all like 24/7. I was on a field or a court or something. I was literally, there was a ball in my hand, stick in my hand, anything. I was playing a sport growing up, and that's how I learned everything. I am the way I am because of my teams, my coaches, all my friends, all my family that supported me. And I think that's like a really cool concept. It hit me in high school. I was like, wow, like sports made me the way I am, and I'm like so grateful for it. So I was like, oh yeah, I want to be a broadcaster, like sideline broadcaster, whatever. Um, and when I started telling people, I was like, yeah, I'm going to James Madison University and I'm studying journalism because I want to be a sideline reporter or a sports broadcaster. And everyone's first initial reaction literally was, you're not blonde, which I think is so funny because that's like your first initial thought. Like, you're not thinking about, oh, this girl has like a great background knowledge of most sports, if not all. And, like, they're like, oh, like, she knows her stuff. She knows the game. She knows the players. She knows the history. Nope. They're like, the first thing they look at is my image because I am a female. And we'll get into that later. Um, so, I wanted to prove people wrong. Like, I was really enjoying this. And so I joined this club with JMU and I got to sideline report um, the club teams for JMU, which was really fun. But as it went on, I was like, I'm really nervous in front of the camera. Like, I have no confidence. Like, I just think about the way I look, I think about the way I sound, I think about tripping over my words, and if I trip over one word, I'm going to trip over the whole sentence. And it just really got to me, but I still like wasn't about to give up because I was really determined. Like, I was like, I want to do this. But then second semester at JMU, I took an introduction to public relations class. And this professor loved what he did, like he was super passionate about it. He drilled it in our heads that public relations is not marketing and it is not advertising, not at all. And now that I'm in an advertising class now, well, just finished actually, I realized like he's right. Like, it's not at all. It's like so different. How I interpreted it was it's more of an upkeep of an image of an organization or a person. And if there's any downfall of any sort, you're the one there to essentially repair that image. And I don't know how to put this in a good way. Like, I mean this well, Um, I'm really good at, weaseling my way out of things. Like, I mess up just like a normal human being. I can make mistakes, but I feel like I'm really good at fixing it and just like making things right and like saying the right things, doing the right things afterwards. Um, and I just feel like I am genuinely good at that. And how cool would it be to do that for a job, but not only for a job, but in the sports field? Um, that sounds incredible to me. I would love to get paid to help, organizations, teams, players upkeep their image and keep it all swell and dandy. Um, I just think the idea of like contributing to the sports world, because obviously I'm not going to play any sort of sport. I'm a NARP now in college. NARP is non athletic regular person, by the way. Um, so it sucks, like not playing sports in college and not being that surrounded by sports um, changes, and it's like it's a different routine, and it's weird. It's super weird, honestly. I'm sure, as you know. Um, So to keep that in my life, not as a player, but as a contributor in some way, and like in a way give back to those as I feel that I was given growing up with sports would be so incredible. That brings me into being a female essentially. Um, I feel like females in the sports world are definitely looked at in a different light or even overlooked in general, which really sucks because it should not be that way at all, as you know. Because let's, like, for example, we have a few CSU alumni, female alumni athletes that really just changed the whole female perspective in the sports world. As you know, Becky Hammon, she was the first female assistant coach for the San Antonio Spurs in the NBA for, men, which is so incredible. Um, they look at her in a respectful manner. She knows her stuff, so they're gonna learn. They're gonna listen to her and they're gonna respect her. And then just recently, not recently, but relatively recently, Kelsey Martinez. She's the first female assistant coach for the Oakland Raiders. That's football. Females don't play football. And I feel like guys look at that. They're like, you don't know football, like you can't even play. So I just think it's incredible that we have a female from CSU, by the way, which is just the cherry on top, coaching a football team, and they're all men and they're all listening to her and they all respect her, and I think that's super cool. And women like these ladies, um, they can really change the game in a sense of looking at females differently when in the sports world. And I just, it's still an issue. For example, yesterday there was a basketball game and a group of guys and a group of ladies, we are going to hang out. Like, we were a huge friend group and we were going to hang out last night, and there was like a plan, it was all set. And then the guys were like, oh, like there's a basketball game tonight, like we don't want to bore you. And when my friend told me that, I was so upset and so taken back because that's so offensive to me. It may not have been as offensive to Hannah because she's not as into sports, but me personally, because I know I want to be in the sports world, I know I want to stay. Um, I just I was so taken back, and I even texted him and I was like, "Yo, like that was super offensive." Like, I put him in his place, and he ended up apologizing, and we all ended up hanging out, so it all worked out. But there's just stuff like that, and it really got me thinking. I was like, "Well, like we just really like we can change this perspective on women in the sports field." Um, but we just have to stand up for ourselves. I feel like we are starting to do that, but I feel like as long as we continue to do that, regardless if we're trying to coach a men's team or for just doing public relations or for broadcasting any of it, I feel like if we just stand our ground, I think good things can really happen in the future. It may be a slow and steady race, but like we'll get there eventually, and I'm like super excited about it because I really strongly believe that we can change it because we already are. It's just not as fast as I would like, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. As long as we keep this pace, like everything will be well. Women will be looked at differently in the sports world. They'll be looked at equally, by the way, which is just super incredible to me. And I really look forward to it. And I'm super excited that this class really opened my eyes to this perspective. And I look forward to continuing these aspirations.